In today's episode, we're going to bring this old square body back to life. The truck hasn't ran in a little over a year. Just threw this motor in it, fired it up and called it a day and haven't touched it since. See if she'll fire. Nope. Try again. Battery's dead. Need jumper cables. Well, we got it to fire, but the radiator's got a pretty good leak that we didn't have the stuff to fix it right there, so we're just going to tow it down to the shop and get it straightened up. Towing it with the old shop truck. Anyway, see you when we get there. Started this project for a buddy almost 4 years ago. Had an LT1 350 in it. Busted the cam in half and he wanted to switch it back to a old school carburetor deal. I got the motors put in it probably 3 years ago, and we busted it off for the first time 2 years ago, and it's just been taking breaks, sitting in the weeds, collecting dust, getting neglected. But now I've got time to do it, so we're gonna get it done. It's really not a bad truck. Needs a little cleaning, a little bit of love. Brake light switch needs adjusted. Got her down to the shop, put the battery charger on it, got it to bust off. Sounds pretty good. Sounded pretty good. I won't start. What the fuck? Got a fuel leak to fix. Probably gonna have to put a fuel pump on it. And a small oil leak, but I think that's the rear main. Got quite a bit of work to do. It wasn't this bad, but letting it sit over the years, it's been neglected and rotting away in the weeds. We'll get her cleaned up, buttoned up, and take her for a test spin. Take it to the car wash and clean it up a little bit. Little tech tip for anyone that doesn't know. If you've ever done a small block or worked on a small block and it leaks oil from this hole, and you wonder why in the world that hole would be all the way through enough to leak oil, it's so that you can pull the short bolt out of it and take a long bolt to screw back into it to hold the fuel pump rod in place so it doesn't slide out. Anyone that's ever done a fuel pump on a small block and didn't use this knows that getting that fuel pump rod back up in there and the fuel pump in all at the same time can be a huge pain. Doesn't need to be super tight, just barely snug. If you tighten it up too much, you'll gouge the fuel pump push rod. I've always seen that these bolts are long enough to do it, so just pull one of these, put it in that hole, it'll hold your fuel pump rod, and you don't have to fight it. Now that we got that fuel pump rod held up in there with that bolt, going back together is way easier. Now that you got your fuel pump back in there and snug, you want to make sure and put the short bolt that was in that back in it, or it's going to leak. This isn't the stock bolt that comes in them. This is obviously a header bolt, but it's short enough to work. Well, we got the fuel leak fixed. Didn't fix the oil leak. Gonna have to order some parts. Power steering lines are on. Had to plug the radiator. Used a hose and a socket adapter. Not perfect. It's also not permanent, so we'll get it fixed up. Probably in another video, not tonight. Let's see if she'll fire up. The alternator's not charging, so we're gonna have to get one of those. Runs good and cool. Got good oil pressure. Got a lot of tidying up to do in here still, but we'll take her for a test spin and see how it does. This video is probably gonna suck because it's dark, but good. It's definitely not a hot rod, but doesn't need to be. It's going to have a bunch of wiring problems sitting for that long. We'll get it figured out though. Stayed cool. Didn't overheat. I was worried about it without a shroud, but looks good. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's video, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.